Welcome to Nourishing Longevity by elénzia, where we look at smart, holistic ways to elevate longevity and support healthy aging. Today, we're tackling a trending topic, supporting clients who are stopping GLP-1 medications. Now, whether that's by choice, cost, or clinical advice, we're going to be looking at how to support that muscle loss and how to hold on to hard-won progress, also looking at the cosmetic effect of rapid weight change. So today I'll be discussing this with our Lead Nutritional Scientist, Alexander, and also our Sales Manager for the UK, Steph. So firstly, Alexander, hello.
Hello.
So are GLP-1 medications the wonder drug that marketing claims them to be?
So it's not really a surprise that they're so popular.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the UK, 25% of us are obese and 65% of us are overweight. So a lot of us are dealing with and struggling with weight.
Yeah.
And these GLP-1 drugs are marketed as the wonder drug, the one-stop shop solution. Yeah. And the thing is, you can't really cheat nature, and that's what people are beginning to find out now.
Okay, and it seems that from the kind of information that we're hearing from the media in the press, that the immediate time frame after stopping these medications, if you need to or choose to, is really important. So what are things that people can do to help when they're stopping the medications?
So the way these drugs work, they really replace our natural GLP-1 production. So they're called GLP-1 agonists because they act on the receptors that our natural GLP-1 would be acting on. And because they're synthetic, because they're they're injected or they're taken orally, they have a really profound effect on the body, and it's 200 times greater than what is naturally achievable. So when we put it into that context, that it's so potent and so powerful, and if people take these drugs for weeks, months, possibly even years, once you remove that, the change is going to be significant. So what we would advise always is to work with a nutritionist, definitely with your GP. Make sure that you're taking the tests that you need to make sure that you are losing that weight and keeping that weight loss that you worked hard to achieve, but also to work on regaining that muscle mass. Now, an interesting fact is when they did the clinical trials with these types of drugs, in about 1.5 years, people would regain most of their weight back. And that's a real shame. But a big reason for that is most of the weight loss during that time using these types of drugs is actually muscle. Now that's about 40%, and that's significant. Because muscle mass is a metabolically active thing. It helps us to burn calories throughout the day. So if we have more muscle, we burn more calories. If we lose muscle, then we are more likely to store this excess energy as fat. And that's what happens once people stop taking these drugs. Their appetite comes back because that GLP-1 effect on the body, that appetite reduction is now lifted. So you don't have that 200 times increased effect. And those cravings come back, the appetite comes back, and that could lead to overeating. So it's very important that in that time when people are weaning off, so we don't advise people to go cold turkey. We would advise people to work with their healthcare professional.
So you've mentioned there that muscle loss must be a huge concern for those people that are on GLP-1 medications. So what can they do to minimise that loss, and what would be some practical steps that you would recommend?
So there are two key things that people can do right away to make sure that they're losing as little muscle as possible whilst they are on the GLP-1 drugs and whilst they could be weaning off these drugs. And first thing is resistance training. Doing some moderate weightlifting activities is really going to stimulate the muscles and tell them that they need to preserve their muscle mass.
So we're not talking about bodybuilder style weightlifting here.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Just a little bit of resistance, some more high intensity interval training perhaps, just something to stimulate the muscles to tell them that they should be holding on to as much muscle as possible, especially when you're in a calorie deficit, which is what most people are going to be on when they're taking these drugs. Another thing would be protein intake. Of course, if you don't supply your muscles with the protein, they don't have much to work with when it comes to rebuilding that muscle or even just retaining it. Now, what I could advise is, adding a little bit of something like elénzia protein. This would be a very easy addition to make, especially if you feel like, today you haven't eaten enough protein.
Yeah, trying to get that additional protein intake.
And if you feel that way, if you know that you haven't really eaten enough, it's a really easy way to add an additional 10 grams of highly bioavailable plant-based protein. And what's great about it is there's no guesswork. Especially if you're vegan, you need to be thinking about, are you getting your complementary proteins? And with something like elénzia protein, not only is it pre-digested, pre-hydrolyzed, broken down, so it's very easy on the digestive system, it's a very light and refreshing thing to take, but it also contains all of those amino acids that we do need to build our muscle. And not only that, it contains the vitamin Ds, the vitamin B12, and even iron, selenium as well, just to support our body's muscle protein synthesis.
And you mentioned there about the struggle that people will feel when they're on these GLP-1 drugs with getting that food intake and not necessarily wanting to eat, because some people say that they feel nauseous and feel sick while they're on GLP-1 medications. So getting that nutrient intake and getting enough nutrients in the body must be quite challenging if you're on these medications.
Absolutely, that's one of the biggest drawbacks of these kinds of protocols. It's almost like a crash diet, really, because you struggle to get not only your protein but just your micronutrients. And these are things that are not optional. They're necessary for the proper functioning of our body. And we have almost an epidemic in the UK already, even before GLP-1 drugs are involved, in the sense that people, especially ladies, struggle to get certain nutrients into their diet. Of course, there's protein, but then there's also things like iodine, selenium and zinc. There's been some recent small and larger scale studies that have shown that around 60% of women have insufficient levels of zinc, and 30% of them are completely deficient. Now, zinc is actually involved in about 300 metabolic processes in the body. So if you think about it, if people are deficient or people just don't really have enough, how can they perform optimally? And so what's very, very important when you're on a protocol that uses GLP-1 drugs or you're coming off them is to make sure, A, that you can do some tests with your healthcare provider to see what kind of nutrients you're lacking. And also to supplement with things that would support those metabolically active organs in our bodies, provide those things that are highly likely to be lacking in your diet, those things like the iodine, selenium and zinc that are really, really important for things like our thyroid health, and that's going to help to carry our metabolic health into the future.
So you mentioned earlier about the fact that these GLP-1 medications have a 200 times greater GLP-1 effect. So how would people manage that decline of those levels as they're coming off the medications?
Absolutely. It's really, really not natural, that massive increase. So we want to manage that decrease as well. So that's why we, along with many nutritionists that we work with, would recommend weaning off. So reducing the dosage over weeks and possibly
gradually,
over some months. Absolutely. But what we can also do is there are certain ingredients that have been clinically trialed that are natural and that support our own body's natural GLP-1 production rather than replacing it with the synthetic version. ingredients like eriomin, which is a citrus flavonoid extract. And that is actually inside elénzia control, and that has been through 3 double-blind placebo-controlled trials. And in those trials, it is consistently shown to increase natural GLP-1 production by 17 and even up to 22%. And that would help have that gradual reduction, help manage that gradual reduction over time.
Okay.
And it also provides those minerals that we've been discussing, the zinc, the selenium, the iodine, those things that women are already suffering with low levels of. So it supports that, which in turn is going to support the thyroid health as well, which is a key concern for women, especially around the menopausal age. So that's definitely something that can be done, that can be implemented into people's regimes to improve that weaning period.
Yeah,
weaning
help
phase.
manage that decline. Yeah.
And also, like as we've been discussing previously, just to implement sustainable steps, whether that's starting a gym membership, perhaps with someone, perhaps getting a personal trainer for that accountability.
Yeah.
But then things like sleep is really, really, really important for managing your appetite and your GLP-1 levels as well. All your hormones in its entirety.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to think about your sleep and having regular sleep times to help that as well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Alexander. I think that will really help support those people thinking about coming off the GLP-1 medications, and also giving, the clinics and the nutritionists that we work with sort of solid advice to help people coming off. So thank you very much.
Thank you, no problem.
As mentioned, muscle loss is one of the side effects of GLP-1 medications, and rapid weight loss can cause something that the media have coined as Ozempic face. So I'm now with Stephanie, our sales manager, to discuss the visual aesthetic side of GLP-1 medications. So Stephanie, hello.
Hi.
As someone with an incredible amount of experience within the aesthetics industry, what is Ozempic face and what can people do to avoid it?
Thank you. So first of all, I want to point out that the use of Ozempic can be used to great goodness, especially for somebody who's been battling being overweight or pre-diabetic, and they've gone to that last stage where they just feel lost and they don't know what to do. With it as well is the clients which have actually been using it have also hit menopause, so they have a rapid reduction within collagen in their skin. So they have lost collagen and then they've lost weight. So what this has done is created jowliness in there.
Okay.
When you start to think of fat and muscle, this is actually what's holding the body up. So when you start to lose that, everything's going to go down south. So it's things like gauntness within the face. Also as well is you're not having all that nourishment from your vitamins and your food as you would normally, so the skin can start to go really dry with it as well, and you can have things from like rosacea can flare up as well, so it's a lot of different factors that we can look into with the skin.
Okay, so that's such an important point about how Ozempic and weight loss drugs really do affect the skin. So if a patient is using GLP-1 medications, what kind of skin support can clinics, for example, provide to support that?
So we really want to be looking at the lipid barrier of the skin, and we also want to be looking at how do we get that scaffolding back underneath the skin. So with it, we've got multi different things that we can help to support them. First of all is I would start off with some treatments. So I would do something like an LED light, which really helps to repair your lipid barrier and to help to repair the cells. Then we can go in there at the subcutaneous layer and we can do things like HIFU. HIFU helps by contracting the muscles underneath the skin. So it's going to help with that jowliness.
Okay, so almost lifting.
Yes, yeah. Then we have radio frequency. Radio frequency is an energy-based device, and with it, it's going to help to get those fibroblasts and get the skin shrunken but working together tightly. So with it, it's got heat which is on the top surface of the skin.
Yeah.
Now this is where Endor technology comes into it, because when you're doing something like shrinking skin and having thermo damage on the top surface, we want to ensure that your skin can handle trauma topically. And when you've been a little bit more ill-nourished and your body's gone through so many different changes, it doesn't work the way it does. It slows down. So with Endor Technologies, if you use that underneath a radio frequency or even something like microneedling, I wouldn't do microneedling first of all for somebody with Ozempic. I'd really want to build up their skin. But with Endor Technologies, it uses nanoparticles, which helps to activate the CD44 cell response, which is responsible for your collagen, elastin and fibres within the skin. So this is your skin's health. So what it does, it helps to activate and it helps to improve the results by 18 times. Now, when somebody's on Ozempic, this is a vital part of it. You want to make sure that those cells are activated and they have the healthiest skin possible. Then at home, I'll be recommending products to them. You want to make sure they're doing a really good cleanse. You want them even exfoliant. With Endor, they have a fantastic enzymatic wash, and it's got papaya enzyme peel, which helps to eat away at any dead skin cells. So it's a very gentle exfoliant, because when you've got dry skin, you want to get that cells turning over and get them off. Then you have got anti-aging serum. With the anti-aging serum, it's got 5% of the nano gold technology. You've also got niacinamide in there, and you've got chlorella extract. Chlorella extract has got 20 different types of vitamins, so you're feeding the skin topically as well. Then on top of all of that, you then want to add your SPF in there.
Of course,
With your SPF is, because your skin's gone through so many different changes, you really want to protect it from your UVA, UVB, but also is within the Endor Technologies SPF, it has tyrosinase inhibitors in there as well, which help to suppress the melanocyte production. So that is what with pigmentation. So because you've got so many things going on in the body, even pigmentation can start to show within the skin as well.
That's really good to know. And with the anti-aging serum, that has become one of my skincare staples, so I can testify that that is a fantastic product just alone.
And like everybody, everyone should be using that one, definitely. You feel the change within your skin
you really
straight away.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what about those patients that are worried about the skin changes on the body, not just the face?
So Endor Technologies is supporting that fat loss underneath the skin. With it, it's got Bohemian sponge in there that works like scaffolding underneath the skin. That helps to make everything a lot more smoother. Also as well is you have dryness that's gone into the body. So you'll see that everything's a lot more flaky. You've got the nanoparticles and you've also got shea butter in there as well that help. Use that twice a day and you will see a complete difference within your body.
Okay, so with the firming cream then, it's really rebuilding that scaffolding within the body and then also really kind of helping that weight loss journey as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So use it twice a day. Use it on those stubborn areas and you'll see a dramatic effect on those areas.
That's amazing. So clinics can really help support not just that aging process, but the weight loss journey as well, especially if you're coming off Ozempic and have got those side effects. So it's really about rebuilding the skin health and skin structure and supporting that client.
Yeah, it's just taking that 360 approach and really looking at that weight loss journey and what is it actually doing to the body and the skin.
So thank you very much, Steph. That was really useful information. And thank you for listening to another episode of Nourishing Longevity with elénzia. If you need any more information about coming off Ozempic or other GLP-1 medications, please visit the blog section on our website.